Hey, Devil May Cry fans, this is Chris Bolts, and I'm coming in with another video on the Netflix Devil May Cry. But truthfully, this is going to be a two-parter because this is basically talking about one certain individual that's going to be involved in too many things that we probably don't really want, and that's Shankar. And I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, but if not, don't hold me to it or anything like that. But before I get into the content, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really helps me out. And as you can see, this is another article from Screen Rant. Devil May Cry Season 2 will look, quote, very different thanks to one important change. And this is all, now, we all know that Devil May Cry was going to get a second season. That was a foregone conclusion and whatnot. But Devil May Cry, the animation, was not as good as we really hoped it to be. It focused too much on Lady at the expense of the titular character, Dante. Dante came off as a goof. He was severely underpowered compared to Lady. He came off girl bossy. They decided to turn the demons into some type of sympathetic immigration type thing. In fact, the entire series just became an allegory on immigration and frankly how America handles immigration. And of course, it caps off with the stupid song from Green Day, American Idiot, as America goes in there and gets ready to invade the demon realm to kill the demons and stop them from immigrating to America. It was a complete and utter mess of a show. And even Screen Rant had come in here and admitted as much about the show Devil May Cry. As you see right here, Dante's portrayal was one of the many problems with Devil May Cry's anime, and but that's poised to change in season 2. And Shankar says right here that Dante will get stronger in season 2 and become much closer to how he's portrayed in the games. Well, it would have been nice if you would have just made him stronger in season 1 and portrayed him how close he is into the games, because pretty much that's why we were looking at the show. We were looking at the show to want to get more of Dante and not of any of Lady. Now, we know that Lady is part of Devil May Cry 3, and she could have had some good moments here and there. But for me, I would say that the show came off 70-30 or even 80-20, Lady to Dante. And there are too many episodes that were dedicated to just Lady. In fact, I think one of the ones that people liked was episode 6. For whatever reason, they liked the contrast between the rabbit villain. I don't even know what his name is because he didn't come off compelling to me or anything like that. But the rabbit villain and Lady, they show the contrast between those two and how their lead up led to their fateful encounter. Her working for the organization that was going to fight these demons, and him becoming the head of the demons and whatnot because he was adopted by these demon immigrants, whatever. It was a mess. It was a real serious mess. And so now Adi Shankar is finally saying, you know what? We need to go ahead and get back to the roots of why people like Devil May Cry, and that's because they like Dante. So he's going to be focusing more on Dante. And here's in bold right here, Devil May Cry's portrayal of a weaker Dante missed the point of the game's aesthetic and characterization of Dante. And that's Screen Rant's point, and I agree with that. Adi Shankar's comments about Dante show that he has at least some idea of how he needs to be handled in Devil May Cry going forward. Yeah, so even though Netflix renewed it for a second season, hopefully this will be one of those times where the second season of a show actually exceeds the first season, because if the second season is even more trash than the first, Adi Shankar is already going to damage his reputation. And that's unfortunate because he really did well with Castlevania, at least the Trevor Belmont rendition of Castlevania. Those 4 seasons are still some of the best animation for an American studio that I have seen. Don't care too much for the Richter Belmont version of Castlevania. That one right there was caught up in some DEI woke bullshit, and I hate really saying that, but To me, that's generally what it was. Too much of the pushing of girl bosses. They invented a female Belmont just so they can give a reason why they needed to insert a female Belmont into the lore, even though, frankly, there really is not a female Belmont in any of the video games as far as I'm aware of. And I've played pretty much all of them, even the Game Boy Advance ones, even the terrible N64 version. But they had to put that off of there. They race swapped one of the characters to be black because we needed a black girl off in there. They pushed the homosexuality. I said, you know what? I just don't want to see that. I don't need to watch that or anything. And to me, it fell far below the expectations of what we got from the first Castlevania. And before anybody comes in there, oh, you just hate the LGBT. Know that they did make Alucard bisexual in the first one, and he came off as a certifiable badass when he was fighting his daddy in the first Castlevania. So it's not even that. So and of course, when he made this, when going back to Devil May Cry, we'll go over here to his X post, and this is what Shankar said about the show. Season 2 is a very different show. Yes, Dante levels up, his skills improve, and you'll see him embrace more of the iconic badassery fans of the game expect. That said, I'm still telling a story, and great characters don't just win, they grow. Well, in this particular instance, Dante needs to grow, not just win. Well, or rather, he needs to win, not just grow. If you had handled him properly in season 1, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Finishing up, what makes Dante compelling isn't that he's unstoppable, it's that he learns and he keeps getting stronger. A little bit of both, a little bit of all three. The thing is Dante already knew a lot going into fighting these demons, and he already was strong. But you didn't. That didn't come across in the first season, and so a lot of people are kind of skeptical about Adi Shankar, and it's his own fault. First comment is, will there be any emotional mother-son dynamic between Dante and Nell Goldstein like the first novel? Adi Shankar says yes. We'll have to wait and see. Next comment is, no one is watching your show, dude. I don't know about that. A lot of people have been watching the show. Next comment, will he be able to stop Virgil from doing 9/11? Can he royal guard the planes? That's a little bit of inside humor right there. Royal guard, can he perfect parry that? And I could never do the royal guard. I hated playing the royal guard or anything like that. Another one right here with the Dragon Ball, which, by the way, I wish Dragon Ball would get back to this. I knew I could count on you. I'm looking forward to it. Just hope you do Virgil justice, because you didn't do Dante justice. And then, of course, this one right here is tongue-in-cheek. Okay, but I have all the demons be evil this time unless you get to Bradley or Modius, because there should be no demons have lady bosses be obsessed with demons to gain their power, because there should be most despicable characters are the people who toss aside their... And I'm sure there's something off of there, but that just seemed like a bunch of mess right there. James Junderlin, you've lied to us multiple times, and by your answer, I'm guessing Dante's still going to be a lame and lose most of his fights for, quote, growth. Dante's only ever lost to Virgil, so I hope that's the only character he loses to in season 2, but I highly doubt it. And and that's correct right there, because Dante is a certifiable badass. He'd be whooping these demons all over the place and be making fun of them, turn them into skateboards and snowboards and all that. So yeah, there's a lot of skepticism coming along with the Adi Shankar going in there. And to that skepticism, we're going to switch gears and talk about another favorite anime right here that he has his eye on. And then he goes right here, right in the very first sentence, Berserk equals mine, lore equal changed, guts equals Adi Shankar self-insert. Now, I hope you are joking. I really hope you are joking about this, Adi Shankar, because we definitely don't want your ass to be a self-insert in there, and we don't want you changing the lore of Berserk. The lore of Berserk is fine as it is, but of course, this is Netflix money we're talking about, and unfortunately, the late Kentaro Miura, he's passed away. but hopefully his estate and the company that has control over the Berserk franchise. Oh God, I really don't like saying Berserk franchise, but it is what it is. Will not allow this man to go in there and do whatever the hell he wants with the shit. You see right there, he's got it tied to an article that he was mentioned with Esquire, because Esquire is a men's magazine, I suppose. Blech. Adi Shankar has a plan to save Hollywood, but you might not like it. And I don't want to click on that. Maybe I'll look at that later if it's not paid or anything. I'll read that and see if, and probably do a separate article on that. And it looks like it's not paid, so I'm gonna read that, and then I'm gonna come back and do another video on that one right there. But this shit right here, as Screen Rant says, declaring lore equals change sent up red flags for purists who believe Miura's intricate narrative should be followed as closely as possible. Yes, it should be followed as closely as possible, because when he went in there and made the changes to Devil May Cry and made the changes to Castlevania under Richter Belmont, it changed both. It didn't change Castlevania for that much for the worse, but it certainly took me out of it. But it definitely did change Dante's story and Devil May Cry for the worse. It's pretty much his most shoddiest work in my view. The first Castlevania with Trevor Belmont, there were some nuances and some changes here and there, such as one of the soul workers. I forgot his name. The black dude. He was actually white in the video games, but it didn't really harm the. And I normally don't like race swaps, but here it didn't have that much of an impact. But then he also made Alucard bisexual. You know, that his sexuality is not mentioned in the video games or anything like that. But again, it didn't hurt the overall story. So it's okay, we'll flow with it. We'll go with it. But it's all that stuff certainly started to come into a head in Richter Belmont, Castlevania, and definitely in Devil May Cry, where the story just got taken off of Dante and got put on Lady, and it really tried to make it an immigration allegory, which please keep the modern day politics out of the stuff and just provide good, wholesome, quality entertainment. And of course, going in there saying shit like lore equals change, guts equals Adi Shankar self-insert. Man, fuck that. Go in there and do a good, proper adaptation of Berserk, because the second season of Berserk was just utter garbage. The CGI was just trash. It lost all of its not dark humor, or if you will, or anything like it. It lost all of its darkness. It lost all of its visceral nature. No, just tell it like, stay close to his work and work in tandem with whoever mangaka is taking over Miura's work and finishing it off to bring that excellent series to a conclusion. So, and to finish this off, Screen Rant says, ultimately, Shankar's declaration is both a promise and a provocation. His style may indeed align with Berserk's darker arcs. I don't know. I didn't pick up any darkness from even from Castlevania. I didn't really pick up any darkness from there. Definitely none from Devil May Cry. But the question is whether his creative changes will elevate or dilute the legacy. Until an official project is announced, fans are left to debate whether this bold move is a match made in hell or in heaven. At this point in time, it is a match made in hell. He needs to prove himself. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull this up. I think this is a let's pull up this one right here, and let's see what comments we got right here. Very first comment: if you change anything in Berserk, you get shot. I don't agree with that. Don't worry about it. Just don't change it or woke it up. He's got a point. Boy, people are like, nah, if you change anything in Berserk, you get shot. I don't agree with that. I do not condone violence in any way, shape, or form. I just found the comment funny. Adi, you are my GOAT. You saved DMC, and I will always respect you for that. No, he did not. You better stop fucking lying, Hina Archive. But I must ask you for one thing. Please save Limbus Company revenue. I don't even know what that is. But this first comment right here, you did not save Devil May Cry. You better shut the fuck up. Get the hell out of here. You dared to touch Berserk with your filthy, grubby little mitts, and we're going to have problems. Well, you are going to have problems, big problems. Do not soil Miura's magnum opus with another god-awful adaptarian, or you're going to see the Imperial Japanese Army marching again. And I will give you this, though. I do like the fact that Adi Shankar is like, nah, you ain't gonna do shit. I love how he interacts with the audience and all that. He doesn't berate or belittle them like certain other individuals out there that really do get off in there and do that shit. So I will give him that there. It's funny he advocates for voice actors to be ethically correct, but he'll rip off Japanese animation, and then he goes, "Yes, it's an issue. The Berserk fandom isn't the type of fandom you want to mess with. Devil May Cry fandom went too easy on you. All Americans know is bastardizing other cultures. I'm not American. I'm from the future." Okay, see right there. I'm telling you right now. That's a topic for another video, and preferably not on my Chris Bolt channel. Maybe on my Chris Bolt's React channel about the people not assimilating into the American culture. You're such an insufferable twat. I know. Please, mate, we already suffer enough with the awful adaptations Berserk had. Yep, even by the hands of the Japanese. If you do get the chance to adapt Berserk, just respect Miura history. You'd be legendary by simply making a good anime. The greatest manga will sell by himself. We're gonna hold it to this, Adi Shankar. Yes, I agree with this. No subversion, one-on-one adaptation. Now, I tell you that goes against what you just posted right here. Don't you fuck it up, man. Don't you fuck it up. And then plus we got the Japanese right here. Let's see, let me translate that. I know this right here is bunka. He did just something about taking care of the culture. Let's just translate to English and read that. Are you willing to appropriate culture? Don't touch this work at all. That's from someone in Japanese, and he just says yes. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So yeah, Adi Shankar, he's got a hit under Castlevania. I'm not gonna Castlevania Trevor Belmont. I'm not taking that away from him. It was meh on Castlevania Richter Belmont, and it was down in the dumps for Dante with Devil May Cry. So he's got some ground to make up. Devil May Cry Season 2 has to be much, much more different from Devil May Cry Season 1. And Berserk, man, I'm telling you, you better not fuck that one up. You gonna have a whole bunch of people mad at you. You gonna ruin your career. You fuck that one up. I'm just saying. And no, it's not a call to violence, and don't you guys even think that shit. Don't you think that. But those are my thoughts on that. You guys jump down in the comments, let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think of Devil May Cry Season 1? What did you guys think about Castlevania Trevor Belmont or Castlevania Richter Belmont? And what do you guys think about Adi Shankar coming out and talking shit about getting Berserk? Berserk equals mind, lore equals change, guts equals Adi Shankar self-insert. Whatever your thoughts are, jump down, let me know. Let's have a conversation on that. And make sure you guys do like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that stuff helps me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. You take it easy.